Well, today I got some pretty tragic news for a good portion of the world, which brings me to this. Made me decide that maybe I should clean this up a little bit, inspect it, make sure everything's okay. I think last year I inspected it in September. I was worried it was going to get cold in October, and it did. Problem was is I broke the window when I was fixing things last year. I tightened the window up too much here. I don't know if you can see that, it's kind of dark in here. So I tightened it up too much and broke it, so I had to order a new one. And they said it was going to take, I forget, it was like 6 or 8 weeks. After I ordered it, I went ahead and ordered another one from a different company that had quicker shipping. So I ended up getting 2 windows, which is nice because now I have a backup. So if it ever breaks again, I can just pull it out of the attic and put it on. I wanted to make sure everything is sealed up right. Of course, you know, you stick a dollar bill in between the door and the stove here, and you close it, and you're not supposed to be able to pull the dollar bill out. That makes sure that none of the air is getting in and seeping in around all the gaskets. And I replaced all these last year. Right here I replaced that one, and I added this one to kind of seal it up even better. So, and then you got to clean the air tubes right here. These are the reburners. They burn the smoke. So you get 100, well, this one I think, I don't know, 80, 90% efficiency. Some of them have a reburner with the tubes, and then it has like a radiator in there that also burns. So what happens is this heats up super hot, air comes in and it burns that smoke. It's really pretty, it's a blue flame. So kind of got it cleaned up a little bit. Before I start it, I will wipe it down with coconut oil. Coconut oil really does protect it. I wiped up the top up here with coconut oil after the season was over with, but you can see, well, I don't know if you can see or not. Maybe if I got a light over here, you can see. You can see right there on the tray that it's rusting. I don't like that rust. Now, we may repaint it someday. The concern is Carolyn has repainted a stove in her past, and when you light it up, it puts out these fumes. It stinks pretty bad. Well, she's concerned that being in a tiny house that those fumes would be pretty toxic. So she's not too excited about painting it. So we try to protect it with coconut oil. And it does help. The top up here, she lays all her cooked stuff up here. You know, she gets done cooking and she lays it up here because we don't have a lot of counter space. And then in the winter, she can warm up soups and different things. Really do enjoy the wood stove, which I think this year we're going to absolutely have to have at least a good portion of the country. So I'm going to take you out here and I'm going to show you the wood pile. It's been a while since I've shown you that. Kind of go through some things. This all has a point to the title of the video. We're in trouble. I watched a news episode last night that really explained how much trouble we're in. I'm not the type of person that makes a comparison between Europe and America and say, well, if it's happening in Europe, you know it's going to happen here. I just don't do that. But my European followers may want to consider what's happening in Europe. So in the summertime, this does not look as pretty as it does in the wintertime because I got to cover it up and try to keep the rain off of it. The wood pile starts to fall over. I've got a big stack down here that fell over I got to pick up, but I don't want to pick it up now because snakes love to hide in here during the summer. Well, they love to hide in here in the winter too, but it's not near as dangerous. So you can pick up a log, see a snake, and it take them an hour to bite you because they're so cold they can't move. All this wood now is dry. Your firewood in these new reburner stoves, those tubes I was telling you about, has to be below 20%. So the first year we were here in this house, that was extremely difficult to do. And I know somebody's going to argue, no, you don't have to do that. You know, I have proven it over and over and over and over again. So if you're curious, go back and watch my last year's wood stove videos, and I'll go through all this again. But I got a little moisture tester. You test the wood. The first year we were here, when we moved in, we had quite a bit of wet wood. So we burned it, and the chimney did catch on fire. The reburners don't work near as much, so that water and that soot and everything gets into the chimney. Well, the second year, last year, we didn't have any problems. There's no soot in the chimney. I just checked it a few days ago, cleaned it, nothing came out of it. So it burns much cleaner. Like I said, I think it's like 80–85% efficiency. So all that smoke's getting burned up before it goes up in the chimney. We don't even have to fish around this year. There's the cat. She's she's feeling better. She had an ear infection. She had ear mites, so we got those taken care of, and then she got an infection. As soon as we got the infection done, she started roaming the yard like she owns the place. She used to just sit on the porch. I'm glad she's feeling better. I just hope she doesn't leave because she's feeling better. So last year, I was having to inspect every log to see if it was 20%. Some of this oak and hickory, this hardwood stuff that we got here in Missouri, takes forever to dry. It can take up to 2 years. So I had a lot of sycamore and we had a lot of walnut dry pretty quick. So we used all that up first, and then we started into the oak, and so I had to go around inspecting each piece to make sure it was below 20%. And a lot of it wasn't. A lot of it was. Well, this year it's been 2 years. Well, it's been over 2 years. So we won't have any problems now. Actually, I say it's been over 2 years. No, it's 2 years this month. So by the time we start burning it, it'll be well over 2 years. So I'm pretty excited this year. I don't know, I've not been excited about winter in my entire life, but this year I'm pretty excited about it. I suppose because last year was such a success, and we're going to do better, even more so this year. Then I got all this firewood over here, and then I got a big stack down here. So we got about 15 years worth of firewood. And I'll still continue to pick some up every now and then. I would like to have a retirement plan is what I'd like to do. And so you see these ads on Facebook Marketplace all the time for free firewood. They just want you to come and pick it up. I have this app called Free Stuff, and if you want to download it, just download Free Stuff from your app store, and all the time people are posting free firewood. So I didn't have to cut any of the trees down in my yard. I cut down some of the sickly ones so they didn't hurt everything, but everything else I left because I got all this free firewood. I'm going to continue to do that. About 3 truckloads a year is what it takes to heat this little house. And that little stove is just incredible. You start a fire up, it gets pretty hot in there, 90, 95 degrees. We try to keep it around 90. And then after it dies down, it starts to settle down, and over the next 8 hours, it gets down to about, well, last year I was starting it up about 69 degrees. This year I may actually let it try to get a little cooler in the house before I start it, 60 degrees maybe. We'll see how I do. I'm a pretty big wimp when it comes to cold temperatures, but if we could do that, we'd really do well. We wouldn't have to burn it near as much. So like I said, about every 8 hours I was restarting it, but if I can go to 60 degrees, then maybe every 10 hours. So basically just a little over 2 times a day I'd have to start the stove. That's very doable. And so we use about 3 truckloads a year. If I can get that down to 2 truckloads a year, we got enough to go the rest of our life pretty easy, I would think. Because I think everybody's going to have to start considering this. I watched a news program last night, and this is not the first time I've heard this. It's just now the news program is starting to catch up. Germany has an energy crisis. Well, I guess most of Europe has an energy crisis, but Germany seems to be leading the pack in the energy crisis. And don't quote me on all the numbers. If you watch the news program, you may have written them all down. I didn't write them down. I don't really care that much, but it does provide a stark warning. Energy prices, heating costs have went up so much in Germany that people are buying up trees. Now, it's my understanding they're charging up to like $1,000 or 1,000 euros per cord of wood. So that's about 3 truckloads. That's what I get, is about 3 truckloads. I get a cord. Well, here, it went up last year. I don't know how much it was this year, but last year it went up from $75 a truckload. So you figure $300 for a cord of wood. The year before that, I paid $125. So it doubled here. Well, in Germany, it went up to $1,000, and now they're out. They're out of wood. So now people are doing things like burning sawdust and I don't know, just all kinds of things. They got one picture I saw in the news clip was, I guess they have one wood stove in the center of town, and the whole wood stove is providing heat to everyone. So this is how they're going to have to heat now because they're out of electric. And I guess it's Poland is got miles and miles, of course they say kilometers and kilometers, miles and miles of cars backed up trying to buy coal in Poland. Now, that's what's so funny is all the environmentalists were trying to get away from coal. The electric companies got away from coal. Now there's not enough energy, not enough electricity to heat your homes. So now you have to go buy coal to heat your homes. There was another country, I think it might have been UK, that energy prices are doubling sometimes overnight. I think energy prices have went up 1,000% in one area. So I would say Europe's probably in this, well, serious crisis. Now imagine this. People who didn't have the foresight to go out and buy firewood or coal, or they can't afford it, what are they going to do? What's going to happen in Europe? Will riots happen? Will people die from cold temperatures? In that news program, they said that more people die from freezing to death than from the heat in the summer. Well, again, I'm not a guy who likes to make comparisons between, different countries, and every country is kind of unique and has their own different things. Heck, even different states in the United States have different policies. You go to New York and they're trying to ban wood stoves. And I think last year I actually made a video where they passed a law that wood stoves are going to be harder to get and different things. I don't remember all the details. But then you come to Missouri and it's like, man, well, why would you heat with anything else? Wood heat is the best. Just the other day I made a video where I was telling you that there's a lot of areas that insurance rates make it impossible for you to have a wood stove. So again, I've been trying to convince folks that they really should consider moving off grid. And every time I do that, somebody will leave a snotty comment saying, well, you didn't think about me and my needs, and I have medical conditions. What am I going to do? One person said, so what's going to happen to me? Am I just going to die? Well, you got to do something, because yeah, that might be the case. If you don't have heat, and if you don't have food, and you don't have the things you need, the basic essentials, because you have medical conditions, then you need to figure out how to make sure you have the things you need when you don't have the things you need. I think people, there's a term for it, but I can't remember the term, but there's a term that suggests that you know two things, but you can't wrap your head around either one of them. So you just go in oblivion, and that's what's happening here. You know things are getting bad, and you know things are going to get worse, but you believe that it's all going to work out. You don't have to worry about anything. I would suggest that you're going to have to really face facts. You see it collapsing all around you. Food prices going up, energy prices going up. If you have a medical condition, you're going to have to do something. And that something is really up to you. But I keep saying you need to get a piece of property, sell your home, get a cheap piece of property like this, put yourself a little house on it, a little shed from Home Depot. $10,000, you got everything you need. You get yourself some wood heat, you get yourself some firewood, $300, whatever it is. Enjoy life without the fear and worry that you're not going to make it. So if you'll click that super thanks button down there, I really appreciate it. So I hope I can inspire you to have fun this winter while everybody else is suffering, so you can live your dreams. Thanks for watching.